Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Wasatch Photonics YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue our ENLIGHTEN series with the video continuing the topic of data management features within the software. If you need help downloading or navigating the software, please check out our ENLIGHTEN playlist for specific videos to help you with what you need. The link to the playlist can be found in the description box below. If you are following along with the product manual, you'll want to jump ahead to section 4.3.4.1 entitled Saved Data Options, File Formats. If you need a copy of the manual, there is a link in the description box below. This video will be dedicated to elaborating on features that were previously introduced, including file formats, optional fields, processed data column/row, and all spectrometers. As a reminder, all of these features are located under Setup tab under Saved Data Options in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. In a previous video, file formats were introduced. However, we will elaborate more here. Spectra can be saved from ENLIGHTEN in either comma-separated value, CSV, Excel, XLS, or JSON formats. Microsoft Excel can open CSV files as well. The main difference is that CSV files are more useful for dynamic programming and scripting, while XLS files include some automated formatting and worksheet breakouts. JSON files are also provided for simplified programmatic access to saved measurements. CSV files offer additional options over XLS files, meaning they can be saved in either row-ordered or column-ordered format, and Spectra can extend horizontally in rows, or one measurement per line, or vertically in columns, or 1 pixel per line. If files are saved in XLS format, the data will automatically be saved in columns. No other option is offered. Furthermore, the files created will contain 2 sheets, one entitled Summary and the other entitled Spectrum. The Summary sheet contains a timestamp and other important metadata from the time of sample collection, while the Spectrum sheet contains the actual spectral data selected from optional fields, which will be described momentarily. In addition, CSV files offer a special Append option only when By Row option is enabled in Saved Data Options, in which each new measurement saved is automatically appended to a single CSV file. This is a convenient way to create strip charts of temperature and other metadata, for instance. In addition to specifying the file format of these saved files, the user can also exercise choice in what fields get written to the resultant files. 3 options are included for x-axis. These include pixel, wavelength, and wave number. And 1, all, or none of these 3 options can be selected. However, wave number is only appropriate for Raman measurements and is only available for spectrometers which have an excitation wavelength defined. Up to 3 columns of signal data can be selected. First is raw data, which we define as a relatively pure, unadulterated copy of the spectrum ENLIGHTEN received from the spectrometer driver. Because scan averaging occurs in the device driver, those features are already applied to the spectrum. For this reason, it is impossible to retrieve a true raw spectrum before it is output from the device driver. However, it does not contain additional ENLIGHTEN processing like dark or reference subtraction or boxcar smoothing. Next is dark data, which we define as the most current dark spectrum that is recorded. This spectrum is then used to generate the processed spectrum. Last is reference data, which we define as the most current reference spectrum that is recorded. This spectrum is then used to generate the processed spectrum, if in fact a reference spectrum is required for that technique. Moving on to processed data column/row, when data is saved in the resultant file, there is a column or row of data that is always written to the file. This means that the user cannot exclude it from being recorded. This data is saved to the processed data column. The processed spectrum is the spectrum displayed on screen in Capture tab on the spectrum chart. This spectrum is calculated using all selected processing options, including boxcar smoothing, dark subtraction, background subtraction, and any per-technique processing such as applied in transmission, reflectance, absorbance, or irradiance modes. Finally, we come to all spectrometers. During an ENLIGHTEN session, if the user wants to collect measurements from more than one spectrometer simultaneously, then All Spectrometers feature should be enabled. When acquiring spectra from more than one spectrometer, the serial number of all spectrometers by default are saved into each file name. Furthermore, the serial number is embedded into the file itself. This way, the user can confirm which data came from which spectrometer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any comments, please leave them down below or please visit our website to contact us. We hope that this was instructional in helping you better understand saved data options features, including file formats, optional fields, processed data column/row, and all spectrometers within the ENLIGHTEN software. Have a great one!